So today we'll be running the 7900X CPU on the X299 DARK, only for 2D. I will show you quickly how I max out the CPU and what settings I use. We are using the Inferno backplate again, of course. We are the second power supply. Kimping Cooling T-Rex CPU pot, KPX thermal paste, 4 sticks of Samsung B-die based memory, so 4 times 8 gigabytes, and a simple VGA. It's nothing else pretty much, and Windows 7 plus server 2012 for running the tests. I'm already getting the CPU cold here. X299 settings are actually pretty easy when you max them out for LN2. The hard part is, of course, finding a good CPU and then maintaining the CPU temperatures near the cold plug temperature, as the heat loads are so insane with these CPUs, so it's not so easy thing to do. And of course the thermal paste will always crack after a few crashes, so you have to revert back to near zero and loop something like Cinebench a few times so that the thermal paste can melt and resettle, then you can go cold again. But nothing very special here. I have a boot set to legacy. I've disabled all the unnecessary options in the BIOS. Nothing in the CPU configuration, pretty much. The important thing in the hardware monitor with the EVGA DARK is to go to the 80 port mode configuration and set the sensor 1 to CPU die, so you can monitor the die temperature, so you will immediately know if your thermal paste has cracked. This is an important thing you have to do. Memory, I'm running around 3800 with relatively high voltage, as I'm running 12, 11, 11, 24 with tight sub timings. You can copy these. I have manually tested them before. I've used them quite a long time, so you can use my values if you want. So I will usually boot in at around 5.5. This depends on your CPU, but this CPU can do close to 6 GHz in Cinebench, Geekbench, near 6.1 in the old GPU Pi, 5.8 something for AVX based tests. Mesh, I would also set in around 35 to 36 for starters, and you have to get that as high as possible in Windows. Input voltage, set the extreme cooling and extreme voltage mode to enable on both of these. CPU input, I would only use around 2.15 for starters. Actually, some CPUs do not like that high input. Some like 2.3 or so, but this CPU only likes like 2.1, 2.15, so I'm using that. As we are using relatively low voltages with X299 Skylake-X CPUs in general, I'm putting in the correct voltages I want to run the tests straight. So I'm using 1.57 V core. This is for Cinebench and everything, and 1.48 on the mesh. VCCSA is not important on the Skylake-X, as it is not actually used with these CPUs, but I just set in some value on it. VCCIO, it affects the mesh overclocking a little bit, so I set it at 1.35. PCH, I set it to something near the stock value, as I don't want to leave it at auto. This is the internal system agent that affects memory overclocking. Set this to at least 350 on this motherboard. I set it at 400, but you can try it at even higher value. But there's not really that much, I mean, anything else important. So from here we just get the CPU the correct temperature and go boot into the OS and then start testing the CPU if we can run the desired speeds we want to run. So this particular 7900X, it has a cold buck at around minus 110. That is of course when the thermal paste is working correctly. So we will be trying to push the CPU just around that temperature. You can see the aluminium part of the T-Rex is already getting cold. It's good to have some airflow that sucks all the fumes away from the pot, as I'm using here. I am of course using the well, it's not so easy to see, but I am using the heat sinks on the VRM, so I haven't removed them, as the VRM can actually get quite hot with these CPUs. But so from here we just cool down to minus 100 and we get to the OS, and I will get back to you in a second. And with these CPUs especially, it is wise to glaze or frost the pot to create a layer of frost in the copper base of the CPU container. This will help you, I mean, this will make the pot much faster, and it will help you maintain the temperatures at around the cold buck temperatures much easier. The nice feature about X299 DARK is that there is an LED indicator on each memory stick, or memory channel I should say, to indicate if the memory channel is working or not. Here you can see that the right side memory DIMMs, so both of them, they have failed the post process. You can see the LED on top of them is lighting red, whereas here it is lighting white. And in the BIOS we can see that we only have 16 gigabytes of memory installed, even though we have 4 sticks of 8 gigabytes installed, so half of the 32 gigabytes have failed. So this is a nice feature in DARK, so you don't have to guess are they working or not. As you can see, the debug LED is reading minus 62 degrees. That is the CPU die temperature I mentioned earlier in this video. As it's reading around minus 60 now, the base at the pot is minus 88, so there is some delta there. But using this debug LED, we can always determine the thermal paste quality if we have to warm the CPU back up to resettle the thermal paste. So here we are approaching the cold buck temperature. So we will just open Cinebench, and I will do a quick run for you. So in the overclocking section we will put 40 mesh 5.8. So it's CPU is now at 5.85 40 mesh. Let's see if we can get it past. So the score is at around 3258, which is pretty good for the first run. There you can see the CPU clock. It's 5.57 V-core, 3840 lens with the timings I set earlier with correct mesh. So from here we just keep pushing the CPU and see how high we can get it. So this particular CPU can run the mesh quite close to 4.2 GHz actually, and well, the core speed at near 6 GHz. So I just crashed at the last second when I was running 5970, so I will do that again. You might sometimes find when you are booting high settings that CPU drops cores. This is more sort of a feature with these CPUs, so it's not that easy to avoid, but with this board I cannot set voltages in the OS that easy, so I'm just booting the max values straight and only change the clocks in the OS. After a few crashes I realized that the paste had gone bad. The debug LED started reading temperatures of around -35 to -40 when I was at the cold back temperature. That tells me that the thermal paste is gone. So I have to heat up the CPU container and run, or pretty much loop Cinebench until the core temperatures go to positives high enough so that the thermal paste can melt. This is a normal thing with Skylake-X CPUs, so you cannot avoid it. So it's not about how well you can mount your container, as none of the thermal pastes can stand these heat loads at around the -110 degree area. It is a huge stress for any thermal paste. So I'm just looping Cinebench at 5 GHz with 2.1 input, 1.3 V-core. So these are safe values. I wait that the core temperatures go to, let's say, +30. Now the pot base is at -20. So they are now so once this Cinebench has passed, we can shut down the system again and start pouring back down and use the old settings and just try again. This is a normal thing you have to do with these CPUs. As I said earlier, it's pretty much a few tries, then you lose your mount and you have to heat your system back up again before you can do any more attempts.
Ready for the night of your life. Stars will shine so bright. They say we're dancing the stress away. This beat is underneath your feet. Right now, together we will meet.
What I have found is that as the debug LED, the coldest temperature it can measure is -64. This -64 should lock in when you reach a pot base of around -92. So this should be your guideline. Now we just went above -92, so it's -90 now, and it's reading -62.5. So this is like a baseline when things are working. So if the temperatures start reading something odd compared to this, you know you have cracked your thermal paste. I just managed to do 3352 score. The key was really actually to push the mesh up, but it's really hard to maintain the temperature at the cold back level. So we are still only 6 points away from Splave's world record, so we will be trying to take that down. As I said earlier, these CPUs have really high power consumption, so it means that they are really hard to control. In other words, maintain the temperature. I just crashed, but it was very close run. The Cinebench crashed just at the end. That is why you need a container that is very suitable for running these CPUs. So it's pretty much either T-Rex or the one of the best pots from Debauer that I would only recommend for this kind of use. And that is the record. We managed to break the Cinebench R15 10-core global by 3 points. Of course it's not much, but it's still a record anyway. So 3361 with a CPU speed of 5975, 415 cache. T-Rex in action. And yeah, X299 DARK. 3850 memories, so with same timings. Yeah, it was hard to stay at around the -110 cold bar, but yeah, that's why you need a good CPU pot. The V-core, I actually upgraded up, increased it to 1.585, and it scaled a bit, I think, and input of only 2.15. Here we have X265 1080p record. I also got the X265 4K well record with a little bit higher MEMS on the 4K run, but anyways, this test is most about CPU and mesh, so record is a record. 122.05 FPS with 2 times overtime. Was same tactic with the 4K run as well, so 2 times overkill.
She's hot but psycho, so left but she's right though. At night she's screaming, my mind. Grab a gun, kinda crazy. She's poison but tasty. Yeah, people say run, don't walk away. 'Cause she's sweet but a psycho, a little bit psycho. At night she's screaming, my mind.
Yeah, it is over now. All the LN2 is used. I managed to get the record in Cinebench R15, shared top score in 11.5. I managed to improve my own Geekbench 3 multicore record. I didn't try W Prime actually, as I was pushing the Cinebench so hard. Then I got both the X265 4K and 1080p encoding scores, so it's pretty good. This is pretty much the max the 7900X can do. The T-Rex pot is amazing, I have to say that. It can respond to any LN2 pour faster when it's properly frosted than the Debauer Beast, so it was easier to hold the temperature with this container here, although of course the difference is very minimal. And it's a lot about personal preference as well, as always. Yeah. The next thing I'm hopefully trying is one of the new refreshment or Skylake-X refresh CPUs, like the 9900 series CPUs, so we will see. But yeah, this is pretty much the max the CPU can do. It will not pass 6 GHz Cinebench, but it is close. The speed in Geekbench 3 was 5995, so we could almost say it was 6 GHz. And I forgot to mention at the start of the video that I have been using the custom Skylake-X IHS made by Bart, or how do you pronounce his name? He's from Poland, and he makes many custom IHS parts for different socket CPUs. He has some water cooling gear, LN2 containers, phase change, cooling, etc, etc. So The IHS feels really good. He made multiple test samples before the final version, but as I just confirmed here, if you are going to delete your Skylake-X CPU, I would happily recommend the Skylake-X custom IHS. But yeah, it was fun to run these tests. We will see if Splave or Alan, however you want to call him, if he has any better scores in the pocket, but maybe, as this whole thing is about CPU race in the end anyways. So if you like this video, please like and share it and subscribe to the channel, and see you next time.